in case a lot of you all did not know, the NBA is planning on bringing back the league July 31st. They want to basically transplant every NBA player, put them, well, not every, all of them. There's like a limit on the teams. There's a 22 team limit. They want to take them, put them in Orlando in a secluded location where they can't infect anyone else, and they can't be infected. And obviously, this was met with cheers by a lot of people who are just like, bro, I'm just tired of watching old games. I want something to matter. I would just want to be, entertained, right? Which makes sense, and it's natural to want entertainment. We all need entertainment in order to distract ourselves at times from the uncomfortable realities that life tends to bring. Okay, but with that being said, we cannot be naive. We cannot pretend like there aren't issues that require our immediate attention right now, right? And a few NBA players and one specific NBA superstar have raised some questions about the timing of the NBA's restart process. So let's go ahead and check out a clip about this.
During a call with nearly 100 players Friday night. On the 90-minute call, Irving reportedly made the case that resuming the season would be detrimental to the players' work on social justice and police reform. Dwight Howard agrees. In a statement to CNN, he said in part, "I agree with Kyrie. Basketball or entertainment period isn't needed at this moment and will only be a distraction. Sure, it might not distract us, the players, but we have resources at hand the majority of our community don't have. And the smallest distraction for them can start a trickle-down effect that may never stop. Especially with the way the climate is now, I would love nothing more than to win my very first NBA championship, but the unity of my people would be an even bigger championship that's just too beautiful to pass up." Steven Jackson, meanwhile,
hold on. Go ahead.
Playing basketball is going to do one thing: take all the attention off the task at hand right now and what we fighting for. Everybody's going to be worrying about the playoffs. They're going to have all that blasted all over the TV, and nobody's going to be talking about getting justice for all these senseless murders by the police, and nobody's going to be focusing on the task at hand, bro. None of these white owners have spoken up. None of them are taking a stand. Yeah, they might post a video when the season starts or saying what we should do, but they ain't doing nothing. Playing basketball ain't gonna do nothing but make them money and take the attention of what we fighting for, what we marching for.
All right, people. All right. So, first of all, if you know Dwight Howard, that might have been the most profound and articulate statement that man has ever made, ever. Dwight Howard is generally not one for many words, and when he does talk, sometimes it can come off as incoherent. Let's just put it like that. And he's been known, unfortunately, sometimes to be a little bit self-centered. Kyrie is an interesting person. If you watch the NBA, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And Steven Jackson himself is also an interesting person, but has never really been shy about dealing with issues of racial inequality and police brutality in this country. He's kind of been an advocate for a lot of issues regarding this particular subject, and the treatment of black people in general. Like, he's been avidly against the weed. He's been fighting the weed, ban in the NBA since he was in the NBA, which is a while ago. And now the NBA is effectively allowing weed starting July 31st. And they're going to so he's pretty well known to fight for causes. But there are these three NBA players are basically from like three different walks of life. When we're talking about how you get to the NBA, how you're known for being in the NBA, and where they're at in their careers. Steven Jackson being a tough guy, Kyrie being kind of like an introverted, fake woke person, and then Dwight Howard kind of being a goofball. These people are like, look, they have pretty distinctive personalities and are not really associated with working together to achieve any real goal. And yet they have been uttering something that I know a lot of people from this particular audience and a lot of audience from the independent media, the woke world, they have been saying. People have been saying, if the NBA comes back, it will be used as a distraction from the issues, right? if the NBA does come back, it will be used to distract from what happened to George Floyd before we get any meaningful reforms. We've just seen Minneapolis agree to disband the police and completely rethink the idea of policing in their community. We've seen states ban chokeholds, cities ban chokeholds. We've been seeing positive reforms at the local level. Now, unfortunately, we've still, even in recent days, have been seeing black people get killed by cops. So clearly, the job isn't done, right? And we are at a weird moment in time. We're at a weird moment in history where all the circumstances converged in such a way that more people are paying attention to the way black people, brown people, and marginalized people in general, and basically everybody who stands up for them, are being treated by the cops. I like what they're saying. Now, once again, these are three different players, and I think it's important to understand where they're at right now. Steven Jackson, whose nickname is Stack 5, is retired from the NBA. He plays in the Big Three, but he has a show with Matt Barnes, and he's a part-time commentator. Okay? So basically, the NBA coming back is good for his career at this point, right? Because he doesn't do a show right now. There's a podcast that they do for Showtime, and so they're usually in the same room for that podcast. Have not really been able to do it. It's beneficial for him for the NBA to come back. Kyrie Irving is injured. Okay, he's injured. The other Kevin Durant, who's the best player on his team, is not coming back. So he really doesn't have any incentive, of course, to come back. So people kind of attack Kyrie for that at first. But then you got to go to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is an integral piece on a potential championship team. Knowing that there is really not a better opportunity for him to win a championship because of a plethora of circumstances than right now. And this might be his only championship. And this man is already going into the Hall of Fame. But one of the worst things you can possibly do as an NBA player in the eyes of many fans is go to the Hall of Fame with no rings. So this is a big deal for Dwight Howard. And yet he understands that there are some things that are more important than winning a ring. I genuinely appreciate, and by the way, just speaking as a person who misses the hell out of the NBA. Lord baby Jesus, do I miss the NBA. I'm trying to tell y'all, that was like my thing. That was the one thing I was able to use to distract myself consistently whenever I just need to unplug from all this craziness. So I miss the NBA. I'll be excited when the NBA comes back. But what Kyrie, what Steven Jackson, and what Dwight Howard said, amongst a plethora of other players, is absolutely true. Unless the NBA reaches an agreement with the players who have this concern, stating that perhaps we'll be active, right? The owners in the league in general will be active in calling attention to police brutality. We'll be active in the community, in helping people fight for, we just talked about this qualified immunity issue, right? Helping people fight things like that, putting their money where their mouth is. Then otherwise, other than maybe saying one or two things at the beginning of the season and then allowing maybe the players to say whatever they would like to. But that's already been a thing. It's not like LeBron's been very outspoken when it comes to these type of issues. That's not enough though. But because the NBA, the NFL, MLB, and other sports have not been there to distract people, now everybody's paying attention. It's just one of the factors. Because what happens is they got kicked out of work. Well, now I'm at home. Well, then your kids is out of school. So now you got your kids. Oh, okay. Well, at least I can, if I'm stuck at home, I can at least watch my sport. Oh, no, you ain't got sports either. Can't go out nowhere. But sports is probably like 60% of that, depending on who you are. And it will serve as a distraction. So I understand there are genuinely, by the way, there's genuinely legitimate arguments against that. against not coming back for that particular reason. There are. Stephen A. Smith, if you're familiar with him, he did not give a good one. He was like, oh, just because people aren't, you shouldn't just skip work because police brutality is a thing and racism exists. That's always been a thing. It's been there even before you played basketball. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is right now isn't the time. Now, granted, you have to take revenue into account. Players have families to feed. Not every player is getting paid LeBron James money, Kyrie Irving money. Players are already taking a pay cut. And some people, like I said, can't afford their staff. And, there's a lot of things that go into it. So I understand that part. TV revenue. Like, there's a lot that goes into this. And they're all, like I said, legitimate arguments. However, I think it is commendable that the players are saying, the ones who actually will be on the floor are saying, this isn't the time, man. This isn't the time. There are some things that are more important than basketball. There's something that are more important than sports. And there's something that are more important than money. And yeah, you're going to do what's best for your bottom line. But I think it's time that a league like the NBA that is dominantly African-American thinks about their bottom line too, which is the safety of their family. The people who are not insulated by the money and the fame. The safety of people that look like them. The safety of themselves. They should be able to live in peace. It shouldn't be, yeah, I'm a famous basketball player, but I'm still black. And players have discussed that in the past. I mean, LeBron had his house spray painted with the N-word and all kinds of crazy stuff. The answer to this should not be shut up and dribble. The answer to this should be absolutely. You're 100% correct. There is 100% a risk that you run by starting the NBA, because you got to remember, this is an alternative NBA schedule where they will be having games on TV damn near all day. You want to talk about the ability to be distracted that you did not have before? You will be able to be distracted basically up and through from January to August, September. I think they're supposed to end at the end of September, beginning of October. That's when the playoffs are supposed to end. So you'll be able to distract yourself basically for the rest of the quarantine in a way that you weren't able to before. And that has to be considered. If the NBA really does care about these issues like this, the way they say they do, at least at the league office level, then these players shouldn't be just ignored. This is where you reach out to those players, and they have one of the strongest players unions, by the way. So that's great. But this is where now you reach out to those players and say, what can we do so that we can use the platform that we are now going to have again to bring attention to these injustices that would be comfortable, that would make the situation, good for everybody involved. So now we get to keep our revenue. We get to make sure players can feed their families, get back on the court, provide the entertainment value that is sorely needed once again. But also now we get to couple that with using that platform, that elevated platform, by the way, because the focus is going to be, like I said, it's going to be back to back games. So now everybody's watching because you are one of the only sports available at this point. I think UFC is the other one, and some countries have started back up soccer. Some leagues have, but in America, you're basically it. And now you can use that elevated platform to bring attention to these issues in a way that you may not have thought about doing before. And I hope that at the bare minimum, that is at least what comes out of this conversation that was started by Kyrie, Dwight Howard, and Stack 5, Steven Jackson. So let me get some of these super chats. Dap the Vegan, thank you very, very much. Bro, we will get change if college football players sit out next season. These white people will be begging to defund the police. Yo. Honestly, y'all don't even know how true that statement is. As a person who came from a top 5 school, that's like, gets a lot, UNC. UNC is the ACC. Believe that. We're not really all that good in college football anymore. We were a couple years ago. Not anymore. But I can tell you this. White people don't know what to do without their college football, bro. College football is more popular than the NFL is. Did y'all know that? College football is more popular than NFL. Hell, I remember I think they gave what's that dude from Nick Saban? I think they gave him like some crazy $8 to $10 million a year or something like that to coach Alabama after they made like 80 million in revenue over the course of some bro. It's insane how much money they make because of how many people are such diehard football fans. If every college player decide to sit out, boy howdy. Look, y'all see how the NCAA acted just because they about to get paid. People freaking out because they're worried they're not going to get the same type of, you're going to have athletes holding out now. They worried about that. Imagine if they all just said, we're not sitting out until this country addresses police brutality and racism. Oh, Lord. They wouldn't know how to act. So I 100% agree. Sparky. No one wants lame games with virtual excitement. I don't know, man. Depending on what sound system you got, some people prefer the virtual excitement. And I think I missed one of your other ones. You said it's a pathetic attempt at a distraction at best. So I wouldn't say that it's a pathetic attempt at a distraction because the July date is something that had been being discussed for months in advance. Like they had been in talks with Disney. They had been talking about the end of July, like, which of course you would have to be doing months in advance because of just the nature of the beast. So it isn't an attempt at a distraction, but there could still be unintended consequences, which is what Kyrie, Dwight Howard, Steven Jackson, and others are trying to bring attention to, and I 100% agree with them. All right. Oh, Glory. What's going on? Premier League starts again in 2 days. If y'all need something to watch, we in the Manchester United bandwagon are currently accepting applications. Well, oh man. Hold up. Is the French league starting back up too, Glory? Because I need to know. I'm just waiting for Cristiano to get back on the field. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all kind of boring over there at the Premier side, man. Y'all with y'all tea and crumpets in the Premier League and shit. Just kidding. What's up? What are the questions? What did I miss? Sparky, riding off the season and wait until next year. Hell no. I ain't doing it. I ain't gonna let him do it. You can't take basketball. Listen, man. I need my Giannis Antetokounmpo MVP and championship because I predicted he would be an MVP and an NBA champion when he was like 19 and just got into the league. I said, oh, this man about to be the rawest player in the NBA. And it turned out I was right, but I need him to get a ring, and this is the year to do it. If there was a year. The year that Kawhi and LeBron and they over in the West now, and KD hurt and Kyrie hurt. Just saying. I'm not being selfish, but I'm just considering, I'm being considerate for my predictions. I might have $1 or $2 on that, okay? Oh yeah, that's right. He plays in Italy. Duh, not France. Thanks for the reminder. That's weird. I'm not getting all of them. Dap the Vegan, I've always said entertainment around year sports. Your team versus my team is all a damn distraction to keep us unaware of how the elites are screwing us. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of truth to that. There's definitely a lot of truth to that. 100%. But at the same time, as an athlete myself, bro, sports is just fun. It's fun to compete. If I wasn't competing in sports, I would be competing in video games when I was young. And because I mean, back then I wouldn't have been competing because, we didn't have internet like that. The dial-up was crazy. Net zero was slow as hell. But just there is value in playing team sports. Sparky, next season will be here before you know it. No, it won't. It's already too, bro. I'm stressing over this July 31st date. When they announced it last week, I was like, really? So y'all gonna make us wait a whole nother month and some change? Just fly their ass down here and get it popping. But I'm trying to exhibit some patience. I know we're in unique circumstances. Plus, I got faith in Adam Silver. I have faith in Adam Silver. If the players speak out about something Adam Silver does not simply just ignore them. He could have screwed them over their revenue from the rest of the season, and he didn't do that. And they had every opportunity to. So I have faith in Adam Silver. I think he's the best commissioner in all sports. And so, and when it comes to these issues specifically, he always makes the right statements. He's always listening to his players association, and I think that he's going to make the right call here. If you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockman Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.